Executive, you have been certainly very proactive on this issue of shared services, and we appreciate what the individual communities and municipalities throughout the county are doing. But I'd like to also just add that I think as a county, we are spearheading a lot of programs and initiatives that are helping the taxpayers save money as well. For example, you initiated the shared Department of Public Works between Cliffside Park and Fairview. In addition to such, the county purchased 2 state-of-the-art street sweepers that is shared among towns, particularly those that are part of the Northwest Mayors Association. We have helped them with new storm water regulations, just to name a few things. We have a cooperative salt purchase program, and we just benefited from that just recently with a huge snowstorm, and I'm sure we have not heard the last of the snowstorms this particular season. So those are just a few things that we're doing on the county level as it relates to shared services, and I think that we're on the right track.
Right. Now, how would that work with, let's give an example, I guess, in Dumont, with the cooperative salt purchasing. You get it from the county, and then it goes to Dumont, and then it's really up to you guys to use it, basically, right?
Yes, and I thank you for being so proactive, not only with the salt program, but with the whole concept of addressing the purchasing power that we can afford as working as a county collectively with all the towns. I see just in this very short period of January, and we haven't even gone through January.
Right.
We've used a tremendous amount of salt, making sure that the county roads and our secondary roads have been taken care of and made safer to travel on. As this weather continues, we will certainly benefit by having that the ability to purchase on a bigger scale and being part of that.
Right, and I know that's sort of, that may be one example with the salt. While the county gives it, you do work with the county in terms of you'll clear the county road and the secondary roads, which are the municipal roads in Dumont. So is that how it works in terms of the Riverside Co-op too, Mr. Administrator, in terms of like what other products are you purchasing?
We do everything. I mean, what we do is when we have our meetings, which are facilitated in the borough of Tenafly, we sit and discuss what our needs are.
Right.
If it happens to be copy paper, we get together, we decide how much copy paper each town wants to buy. It gives us the ability to buy it cheaper. Flares for the police department, ammo, which has gone up tremendously as a result of the wars that we're in. Right. That's increased the cost. Paving. Right. We go into shared services for paving through the Riverside Co-op. We're talking about, requesting a vehicle that we could all utilize through the county, similar to what Northwest did. But we do a lot of shared services. When we find a need, we bring it to everybody's attention. If they're interested in it, they buy into it.
Right. And I know Dumont has really been the leader in a new product we're sort of working on with the county, and that's ambulance service. I know Dumont has a terrific volunteer ambulance service, but what we've discovered is that insurance providers are willing to pay a fee, but the only way to do it is through like different ambulance service, and the county has stepped up. And I know under Mayor Matthew P. McHale, Dumont was one of the first towns to join the county's regional emergency medical service. How's that working out so far? I mean, working with the volunteers who are doing a tremendous job and keeping taxes low by doing that, and then sort of have a backstop with the ambulance service that's really working on third-party provider insurance.
Well, through your initiative with offering this to the towns, it's been fabulous. Okay. Number one, no question went unanswered from the get-go. There were a number of meetings to make sure that it was going to work. Our volunteer ambulance squad was in the forefront of those meetings, as well as members of the mayor council. It's worked out well. It took a while to get the contract done because we wanted to ensure that our residents were going to be protected, right. That they weren't going to be billed if the insurance was not available. The response time was a concern to ours, and all those issues have been addressed. The contract was signed within the last 2 months, and we're ready to go.
Right, I understand it is very new, but
the thing that I think was paramount was the fact that we do have a very dedicated group of volunteers, whether it be the ambulance or the fire department. And I think the reality of the situation is that providing the residents with the coverage that we've become accustomed to with our volunteers.
Right.
As we all know, living here today in this economy asks more of people working longer shifts, second jobs, if you will, and this kind of provides that protection when our volunteers can't be there.
Right.
And I think that as an adjunct or as a supportive support system to provide the towns of Bergen County with this kind of service should take any misgivings of not having that kind of coverage during the day when our volunteers are not readily available.
Right, and I think the viewers should know these are you still have volunteers that are out there, and the amount of training that they're doing now is even more,
Phenomenal.
and they're doing it, and they're not getting paid for that. They're spending weeks at the county academies. Then they come back.
Commitment.
That's right, and I know the freeholders support that too.
Well, that's why I say, you know, the commitment that our residents as volunteers make, whether it be for the fire department or for ambulance or for even the Boy Scouts for that matter, they put their time and their effort in there for the betterment of the community. By having this as a support to that completes the picture. And like I said, no resident needs to feel that we don't have that kind of coverage or protection. So again, thinking outside the box and using different approaches into addressing these issues makes it a better community, a better county for all.
All right, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with more of Inside Bergen.
Ever think about who will answer your 911 call in a medical emergency? Many times, the people who respond are no strangers. They're your neighbors, friends, relatives, and coworkers. They're dedicated to helping people. They respond at all hours, in all kinds of weather, and are trained to handle any emergency.
They're also volunteers. They could be you.
To find out how you can join the thousands of other EMS volunteers, contact the Bergen County Law and Public Safety Institute. If you don't, who will?